Afternoon. So I've been trying to record a sort of video like this for a while. And what I'm going to talk about is kind of related to the fact of me feeling like a bit of a pussy from doing it. The delivery of the videos weren't easy. I'm going to try and do one of these each and every day now, just to sort of give you guys something to think about, as well as doing the emails, which obviously I hope are helping as well. Now, I've been talking to a few people that are close to me recently about my feeling like shit. I started seeing a new therapist, and that's been going well. But I just haven't been getting a routine in my life. And what I wanted to sort of speak to you guys about was that I know, obviously, we're all the same, and you know, penis, vagina, long hair, short hair, tall person, short person, fat, thin, whatever. We're all got the same kind of thoughts and the same kind of insecurities that are going to absolutely tear us a new one if we let them. So I've made a couple of notes, and what I wanted to talk to you about today was any changes in your life. You are going to run into resistance. If you start a goal here and you want to get to here, there's going to be hurdles along the way. Okay. So when we're conditioned, when we're small, we're conditioned to either run to our mum, so that becomes a very inherent trait. And obviously, a lot of the kids that come to boot camp, you know, they run to their mums, and it's really sweet. But obviously, some point they have to kind of be detached from that. And it's easy. Let's say I'm sick, or like today, obviously it's raining for boot camp. It's easy just to sort of back down and walk away and go, "Oh, I'll go tomorrow. I'll go tomorrow." Before you know it, that turns into a week. That's 7 days where you haven't trained. Yeah, sometimes you might be genuinely injured, or you might be genuinely sick, or you might have to take some day off. I mean, obviously one of the boot campers at the moment's got a big knee injury, one's got a big foot problem. These are things you have to obviously not train through and let heal themselves. When pain receptors fire off in your body, though, the mind obviously is what triggers it. So there's a thought process conditioned into you from a very young age to almost resist resistance. So immediately, as soon as you want to take that step, dependent on obviously your upbringing and everything else, you're going to resist resistance, if that makes sense. So your comfort zone might be here, and obviously comfort zone, again, it's just a thought we put to a certain thing that we feel. You know, your comfort zone isn't going to be the same as mine. It isn't going to be the same as Donald Trump's. It isn't going to be the same as your children's. It isn't going to be the same as your next door neighbours. So it's just a thought process that obviously is triggering that in your brain. When I was very small, I had a very hypochondriac mentality. Any sort of injury, I'd play up to it. I'd try and get the day off school. I'd try and take a sick day. I used to get bullied, and I used to get bullied a lot, and that was one of the stories that I told myself that made me a victim. And I was almost like sugarcoating a turd, because I had this negative thought, which was obviously me being a victim, and I try and put the fighting on top. I try and put the, you know, being good with girls on top, whatever, and almost develop this front person. So that my mind became so conditioned to that thought process that any resistance, I just wouldn't let myself grow. And that's kind of what we're trying to talk about today, because obviously when you start boot camp, or when you start any sort of program that you want to change in your life that you're not happy with, you're going to encounter resistance. There's going to be that wall. And what I wanted to ask you today was, where in your life at the moment are you currently amplifying the weakness? Where are you avoiding? What's the story you're telling yourself to kind of amplify the pathways that are already in there? Because obviously, to change it, to become a new person and to create that change, you have to create new mental pathways in your brain. So obviously, you're going down the train track this way, you have to break off. Instead of going this way again, you have to start going this way. It might be arguing with your parents, arguing with your spouse. Your kid might be answering you back, and you're just letting them get away with it. It might be you're developing a certain class that you don't like at boot camp, but you know it's good for you. But obviously, you're getting put off by the story you're telling yourself. Any of these sort of things, you either amplify by obviously avoiding them, and there's no two ways about it. You're gonna create stress in your life, regardless if whether you deal with it, and that's the immediate stress, but then obviously you get past it and it becomes your new comfort zone, or you're gonna equally deal with stress because taking the comfortable option now by staying on the sofa, snacking, eventually you're gonna have to answer for those consequences. So that again is going to create stress. There's no two ways about it. You are going to get stress in your life, but where do you want to go with it? You're either going to amplify the weakness, or equally, again, the mind's such a powerful thing, you're going to amplify the strength. So by you fighting that resistance, and I'm a massive, what's the word I'm looking for? Hypocrite, I suppose, with this, because I do this myself. I'll tell myself, oh, this is why I can't make money in my business. This is why I can't bench a certain amount of weight. This is why I can't run in a certain amount of time. Oh, I'm too tired to work today. I need a nap, whatever. These are all just stories that are building up in my head. Some days you obviously need to genuinely take a rest, take a sleep, take an injury seriously. But your brain is going to have preconditioned pathways that you need to break. And this is the question that I need you to ask yourself today and start to act in spite of. What are you amplifying as a weakness? As I said, what are you avoiding pushing through that resistance? And how can you start working in spite of it? Hopefully this is giving you some food for thought today. Again, I'm going to try and do one of these every day. It might not be every day, but I can guarantee it'll be 3 or 4 times a week, because as I said, I really want to help you guys as much as I can. Any more questions, please feel free to give me an email on glenn@gfitpt.com. Website gfitpt.com again, and hopefully I'll speak to you tomorrow. If you're not at class, but you better be.